3, 2, 1. Mac, get the flamethrower. For what? You heard what I said, now move! That was a clip from my Cool Cat review when Mama Cat shows up.
Cool Cat!
Yeah.
Derek Savage. He's tweeting it like night, like Cool Cat shit.
Originally from the movie The Thing from 1982. But that was the first instance of anyone using a clip from another movie as a joke in a review ever. I invented that.
What if Derek Savage is the Thing alien, like the alien
that
from
would
Thing?
explain something.
As long as he's in the Mama Cat suit, it's terrifying. So, I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks. This is Sardonicast, everybody.
I'm Ralph. How are you?
Hi.
I'm Alex from HE. But I thought we had the order down pat. I thought, I
thought that was good.
Fref gets second.
Okay. Alex, if you were consistently second, the order might just be down. Right? I don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
here.
fuck it. Maybe I should just start doing second.
Maybe you should
you want
just both.
second?
Maybe you should just both compete and see who gets the second one first.
I usually
make it a
go
race.
second. I thought. I mean, you could take second. I mean, that's fine. I respect my elders.
I love the way that we're doing it right now. Don't ever change.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
that this is great.
Yeah, it keeps it more exciting, doesn't it?
Alex, if you want the second spot, we can decide right now.
No, let's compete. I like the
cool
competition
with it.
aspect.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, maybe I'll try and jump into second spot.
Next time I'll let you have it.
Yeah, maybe like try and psych them out. All right, so Oscars nominations, which
another year of this.
Another year. Isn't this like the first thing we did?
I'm doing the
ever
Oscar.
on the podcast. That was our first episode.
It was.
How many of these we done?
Yeah, the year Cloverfield Paradox was up for all the awards.
The Oscars suck. They suck. They're not as bad as the Golden Globes, but they suck.
Yeah, the nominations are like very boring, actually.
Yeah, they are boring.
Last year they were boring, and they had the excuse of, well, no movies came out because COVID. And now they don't really have that excuse. I mean, not like they ever really did the year before, but now they super don't have that excuse, and they just pick the most boring movies they possibly could have chosen.
Yeah, some notable snubs for sure.
It's like they're seriously unaware of what's out in a year.
Sorry,
Anyway.
editor, I'm playing the Oscar music.
Oh, sure.
Do you want to read off some of the categories,
As long as
Alex?
it's not content.
Yeah, sure.
The nominations?
Yeah. So I'm on the Guardian article that's summarizing it all here, starting with Best Supporting Actress. We got Jessie Buckley, Ariana DeBose. Should I say the movie as well? What do you reckon?
Sure.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Jessie
matter.
Buckley from The Lost Daughter. Yeah, whatever. Ariana
No
DeBose,
one's seen
West Side
most of these.
Story. Judi Dench from Belfast. Kirsten Dunst, Power of the Dog. Anoane Ellis from King Richard. Anything stand out there? Or am I just listing?
Kirsten
I mean, it's
Dunst.
It's funny that Jessie Buckley and Jesse Plemons are getting Oscar noms after the year that they were in I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which is a major snub, but okay.
I know.
But at least they're going to get it this year.
I mean, they got the nomination. I don't know if they'll win.
It's like when Scorsese won for The Departed. They're just like, we got to give him an Oscar eventually.
Yeah, it's just time. Here you go.
It's not even
Have
his
one.
best movie. It's a good movie, though. Yeah, I don't know. Give it to Kirsten Dunst, who even... I haven't even seen most
Kirsten
of them,
Dunst did a
so-
really great job. She's so far I liked better than Jessie Buckley in The Lost Daughter.
Yeah.
I didn't finish The Lost Daughter. I watched half of it. It was kind of really, really way too slow, and it was like, okay, there's only really one direction this is going. I was getting kind of impatient.
Yeah.
It was fine. If it was like half an hour shorter, I would have probably liked it. But
Best costume design. This one
Cruella.
starts with Cruella.
Knew
Yeah,
it.
Cruella.
Really?
It's a movie
Caramel.
about costumes. Of course they picked it.
And Disney owns it, right? So, yep. Dune, Nightmare Alley, West Side Story. Cyrano, is that you say it?
Yeah, the
Serrano.
one with Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
I would give any technical award to Dune or West Side Story. So that would be my answer for like
Is
any of these you say. Yeah, like Dune. Yeah, it's like the visual part.
I think Cruella's got
Dune
it.
had good costumes.
She made costumes
Cruella
in
had
the
bad
movie.
costumes.
But there were lots of them. There was a variety of costumes. It's going to get it. That's my luck. Cruella wins costumes.
Yeah, I think unfortunately you're right.
No, it won't be Cruella. That was a pretty bad movie.
You want to make a bet?
I don't think people like that
make
movie.
a bet.
$5.
Make a bet. I think Adam's right on this.
Oh, God.
I think Cruella's...
More bets.
Yeah.
Ever since that Venom bet.
But this is a very clear yes or no outcome. Like there can't possibly be confusion unless there's two winners or something.
Yeah. I'll bet on something bigger like
Okay.
director or like best picture. Not costume.
Best sound then. Let's do best sound. We got Belfast, Dune, No Time to Die, Power of the Dog, and West Side Story.
It's probably gonna go to Dune. I haven't seen West Side Story yet.
It's the most obvious.
That'll be out on digital in like 2 weeks. So
West Side Story. I don't know. One of those.
yeah, Dune's getting the
Have
sound.
you seen No Time to Die yet?
No, but I've listened to my dad complain about it.
Oh, really? You didn't like it, did you?
Yeah. It was really funny. He sent me a message out of nowhere on my phone saying, "What a load of crap." He's the dad Bond fan, and he's like, I can handle when sometimes things don't make sense, but this is just ridiculous.
Whoa, okay. You saw it, Ralph, didn't you? What did you think?
Yeah, I liked it, but I understand it. I understand what he's saying, I guess. It wasn't nominated for Best Picture or anything.
No.
It's just sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got a sound.
It's not that kind of movie.
Yeah, it could go. It could go to that movie. I think it'll go to Dune, though. Think about how the Oscars voters think about movies.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I have to think about.
They give the awards to what has the most of the category, not best, most.
Yeah,
right.
The most obvious.
So the most editing will go to Don't Look Up because it has the most editing. It went to Bohemian Rhapsody.
Did you see that?
I mean, I saw the first 20 minutes, and now that it's nominated for Best Picture, I feel obligated to try and finish the rest of it, but I'm not going to enjoy it.
Oh, man.
I just wasn't interested, but it doesn't...
No, yeah.
It'll probably win Best Screenplay, too.
It's way too long. I mean, the only reason it got nominated is because the clout of, like, the actors and the director and the message of the movie itself. It's not because the movie's that good. It's pretty bad, actually. And then, like, Adam McKay defending it.
Oh, did he say things after?
I think so. He was like, people don't get the message or something. I don't know exactly what he said. But like, yeah, I get the message. It's not that funny.
Yeah, I'm not too crazy about his movies. But,
No, I'm not either. But like, Big Short is good.
What about Best Original Score then? Don't Look Up,
yeah.
Dune, Encanto, Parallel Mothers, and The Power of the Dog. Who's got this one on?
I fucking love the score from Power of the Dog. I think Johnny Greenwood has a good chance, but I just watched Parallel Mothers last night. And it had the most score, so I'm worried. It was playing throughout a lot of the movie, sort of thing.
Dune is my.
That's what I was thinking about Dune, though.
Yeah, Dune might be in that
talking
same.
about that Hans Zimmer. Yeah,
Johnny Greenwood's got like a really good name for it too. I think the Academy likes him. I'm actually pissed because I thought, you know how Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross were nominated for 2 different songs with Soul and one other thing. I think Johnny Greenwood should have had 2 nominations this year. I honestly think his score for Spencer was better than the Power of the Dog score, honestly. Yeah, if Spencer was there, I would be like, this is my favorite, but because Power of the Dog's there, I have to say that.
Mm-hmm. He did Licorice
Pizza.
Not
much of Spencer, actually.
For that.
I know, just actors.
Yeah, Spencer.
That's it.
I saw some Spencer.
It's kind of a snub. Yeah. I thought it was much better of a film than... I think Jackie probably only got actress too, but...
Best Adapted Screenplay then. We got Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, The Lost Daughter, and The Power of the Dog.
I think it'll probably go to The Lost Daughter.
What's your reasoning?
Because it's like kind of feminist. And last time it went to, what's that movie? The fucking...
Nomadland?
No, I think Best Original. I was confusing Best Adapted with Best Original, but they always got to give it to one. What was the fuck? What was it called? It was like the worst Best Picture nominee of that year. It was
Green
last year.
Book. Oh no.
It was the one about the woman who like killed some dudes.
Oh, Promising Young Woman.
Thank you. Yeah. So like that won a screenplay award, and so I'm like, what is this other one called? The Lost Daughter, which isn't.
Yeah, The Lost Daughter.
It's a good movie. I just thought it was too long. There wasn't anything wrong with it, but it's like, I don't know who directed this. Maggie Gyllenhaal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did she write the screenplay too? Like
she's credited for it. Yeah,
it's like a nice female-centered, independent-ish movie. I think they want to give it something, and this is probably what they give it, unless they give it one of the acting awards, which they might, but I'm not entirely sure about that, honestly.
Power of the Dog, I think.
There's lots of Power of the Dog, actually. Might be the most
I think it is the most nominated.
Yeah.
I think it'll win a lot.
I think it has the best shot at Best Picture, unless I'm being cynical.
Mm-hmm. I think so, too. That West Side Story for Best Picture. I think those two.
All right, let's move on.
Original screenplay, then. Belfast, Don't Look Up, Licorice Pizza, King Richard, and The Worst Person in the World.
I'm worried it's going to Don't Look Up for entirely ideological reasons.
That would be lame.
That would be very lame.
I think it would be unsurprising and kind of lame.
But, I mean, unsurprising and kind of lame just kind of summates the Oscars in
I
general.
know.
To be honest.
All of their nominations are so shit.
God.
Yeah.
It's so
The Oscars. Dun, 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 dun. It's fucking boring.
Karan Hines from Belfast for Best Supporting Actor, Troy Kotzer from Coda, Jesse Plemons, Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons, Being the Ricardos, Cody Smith-McPhee from The Power of the Dog.
I'm going for the Coda guy because he's actually had like a long career in Hollywood, and this is his only Oscar nom, I believe, and he's a real deaf person. And I think, also he did a great performance, but like you have to understand the other angles too, So, I think it's probably going to him. That's my assumption.
Not Jesse Plemons.
Why would Jesse Plemons get an Oscar? He did the same thing he does all the time. I like him, but like he didn't do anything crazy for Power of the Dog. I like him, but he's not like a versatile character actor. He's just kind of a, like I played essentially the same guy,
He's Todd.
Yeah. I like him, but yeah, it's not.
He's Todd.
So we're editing. We got Don't Look Up, Dune,
He's gonna win.
King Richard, The Power of the Dog, and Tick Tick Boom.
I haven't seen Tick Tick Boom yet. Maybe that'll have lots of editing, but right now the most editing goes to Don't Look Up. So.
Yeah, Don't Look Up.
Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Coming to America, Cruella, Dune, The Eyes of Tommy Faye, and House of Gucci.
Probably Cruella, I don't know. Because they had lots of makeup. They had lots of different makeup.
I don't think Cruella's going to get anything.
But they had different ones, and there were lots of it.
I think people hate Cruella.
Well, they nominated it for 2 Oscars, so clearly the Academy doesn't hate Cruella too much.
Don't general audiences love Cruella, right?
They nominated the new Star Wars movies that fucking suck. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about what's fair. It's about what
it's about what's
Disney
dumb.
wants to put on the DVD.
It's about what's fucking stupid. That's what wins. I'm so hyped.
Yeah, like the best animated feature one is funny. Yeah, for best animated feature, we got Encanto, Flea, Luca, The Mitchells versus the Machines, and Raya and the Last Dragon.
All the obvious
so
ones.
3 Disney movies.
Even Flea was just kind of obvious, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to take it, though?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing really jumps out at me.
Well,
probably Encanto.
Encanto's definitely taking it, yeah. I haven't seen it, but apparently it's the new Frozen, so.
Yeah.
There was a great animated movie called Crypto Zoo by Dash Shaw that if the Oscars wasn't so lame, they would have nominated, but they're lame, so. Anyway, check out Crypto Zoo by Dash Shaw. It was great.
Have you seen the documentaries, Adam? They're listed here.
All but 2 of them, I think.
Okay, so we got Ascension, Attica, Flea, Summer of Soul, and Writing with Fire. Any of those stood out to you?
I mean, like, in terms of, like, who would win, it's a toss-up. I have no idea. So Ascension is essentially just, like, a documentary showing, like, modern China, and, it's kind of dystopian and weird. No narration, some music here and there, but essentially just being like, yo, country is kind of fucked up, but without explicitly saying it. Writing with Fire, I haven't seen it. I missed it from Sundance last year. It's some like Indian feminist movie. I don't remember the specifics about what it's about, but that'll be in digital early March, so I'll catch it then because I missed it. But what were the other ones? Ascension is about like a prison riot. Sorry, Atticus is about a prison riot. I'll be seeing that one soon. I haven't seen it yet. Summer of Soul was about like a music concert that was happening, I think, in parallel to Woodstock, but it was like it didn't get as much coverage because it was mostly African American sort of thing.
Right.
I forget who produced it, but some big music name guy. A lot of people really loved it. I was like, I don't know. I wasn't super into it. I don't love music documentaries. I kind of get bored by them. because a lot of it is just like playing the songs, and if I'm not like a huge fan of the artist already or something, it's like I don't know. Like there was a deeper, more political story in there. I wasn't into it in the same way that I wasn't into the new Edgar Wright whatever band he covered.
Oh yeah, and have you seen like the Peter Jackson Beatles doc?
I haven't seen that one yet, but yeah, like music documentaries are hit or miss. Like I can't. They don't hold my attention, and that doesn't mean they're bad. They just don't hold my attention as much. Was there one documentary I missed there?
I think you got them all. Ascension, Attica, Flea, Summer of Soul, Writing with Fire.
Yeah, Flea is one where I just can't get behind the character design. It's like an animated documentary, foreign thing, and it's about like a gay person or a gay couple fleeing from, I forget, Afghanistan or some Middle Eastern country. I tried watching it twice at like 2 different festivals, and I was just like, I couldn't get past the first 15 minutes because I couldn't get behind the tone. I couldn't get behind the character design, and I was just like, fuck, I wish it was animated differently. I can't feel emotion for these characters with their faces looking like that. It was just really weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I've seen some screenshots from it, and it looked okay. Does it not work in motion, or is...
It's just the animation's way too basic and doesn't really show a lot of facial expression. They don't really utilize the genre to the fullest. I'm like, this might as well be recreated in live action. Like, what's the fucking point of animating it, sort of thing? I don't know. I couldn't get into it. I tried twice, so whatever. It'll probably win something, actually, because it's nominated for 3 categories, right? It'll probably win documentary, if anything.
What about Best Original Song, then? We got Be Alive from King Richard, Dos Oruguitas. Sorry for the pronunciation, Jesus. From Encanto, Down to Joy from Belfast, No Time to Die, No Time to Die, and Somehow You Do from 4 Good Days.
Encanto's winning. I haven't even heard it. It's winning.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't the Encanto one.
People are saying it's the new Frozen.
The Eilish thing, is it?
So,
cinematography, we got Dune, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story.
Could go to any of them, honestly. There's good reasons for all of them.
Good. Yeah, I think it'll go to Dune.
I mean, Dune has that like promotional thing where they're talking about how they were using like, I who knows, they might put that into visual effects though, and they're talking about using like instead of green screens, they're using like brown gray screens to like so the light bounces off. It's like that has to do with effects, but it also kind of has to do with lighting too. So it's like, I don't know, it depends what category you.
Well, it's just, again, down to these like super broad categories that just don't do a very good job of summarizing. Best international feature then. Drive My Car, Flea, The Hand of God, Lanana, A Yak in the Classroom, and The Worst Person in the World.
Worst Person in the World's my favorite. Drive My Car is going to win because it's nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. Best Production Design, we got Dune, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story. Surely Dune.
I think Nightmare Alley's got a good shot at this one, actually. Production design.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it does. Dune could get it, too, but I think Nightmare Alley does not have a 0 chance, for sure.
Actually, yeah, they'll probably give Dune Best Visual Effects, won't they? Which is the next one.
Yeah.
Which is Dune, the Free Guy, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, No Time to Die, and Spider-Man No Way Home.
So
really
I
annoying.
think Free Guy. Shot at that.
There were a lot of visual effects in Free Guy, right?
Yeah.
So
I think it's Free Guy.
Just loads.
It would be kind of sad and embarrassing if it won. I don't think it would win. It's sad and embarrassing already that it's nominated, right?
The fact it's there is embarrassing enough.
Yeah.
You might as well just give it to Free Guy. Just give it to Free. Come on.
Fucking give Best Picture
give
to
it
Free
all the
Guy.
Oscars. Give it Best Picture, yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, Best Actor.
So yeah, it's exactly what you're saying with like Shang-Chi being there. It doesn't have bad visual effects by any means.
There's a lot.
But just because it has a lot of them, yeah, it doesn't matter how they're implemented or...
They have a very short attention span, and it's very difficult for them to remember movies in the year. So they just go, clearly. This one had special effects in it. Let's do that one.
Mm-hmm.
Best Actress, we got Jessica Chastain, Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, and Kristen Stewart.
I think Kristen Stewart will get it. I think she'll win.
Yeah, why not? I think it's her time. I think she did a great job. So
I don't think any of those other performances stand out.
Where are the other ones? What were the other ones? Penelope Cruz, Olivia Colman.
You know,
Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman.
Olivia Colman, yeah. But did she win for The Favorite?
She did.
Yeah.
You know, she won already.
Yeah, but that was a few years ago.
She can win again, but you know.
Yeah, I know. They probably like her, so you never know.
Yeah, they could give it to her again.
I mean, she did a really great job in that movie, but
I haven't seen Spencer, but there's the most buzz around that movie.
Yeah,
for sure.
Kristen Stewart.
I haven't even seen her.
Probably,
I'm just saying, from the buzz, I think it's gonna be Spencer.
She did a great job.
I think Spencer's gonna win.
It'd be
Kristen
cool.
Stewart, yeah. Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen.
All right.
Best actor then, we got Javier Bardem, Benedict Cumberbatch, Andrew Garfield, Will Smith, and Denzel Washington.
Like, what the fuck? There's a lot of great performances this year that were not them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Fucking
Benedict Cumberbatch, I guess.
Simon Rex in Red Rocket was really great, you know? That's a lead. Like, name any of the actors from The Humans, you know? Those are all fucking awesome performances.
Yeah, none of those are bad, but there have been better.
Yeah, like, it seems like one of those we forgot that there were other movies things. So we're just picking from this, like,
that
tiny
being the
handful.
Ricardo's movie keeps popping up. It's like that movie looks so bland. Like, I get it's Aaron Sorkin. It looks so bland, and it just keeps popping up for like Best Actor and Best Actress because they're big names, I guess.
Yeah,
they feel like obligated to nominate.
Yeah, I like
them, but
fucking. I'll give it a watch, but I have my doubts that I'm going to be.
I'll watch it
like,
eventually. Yeah, but it's not at like the top of my list.
Yeah.
Like, I still need to see Red Rocket and like all these other movies you told me about.
I wonder if they'll just give that one to Denzel.
What was he in again?
Macbeth.
Macbeth.
Okay,
yeah.
The Coen director, which I thought was really good, but
yeah, who knows?
I don't know if he should win again.
Who the fuck knows for this one?
For that, especially, he's. I don't know.
Moving on.
Okay. Penultimate one here. Best director. We got Kenneth Branagh. Drive My Car. Oh, that's weird. They put it the wrong way around for this one. Ryusuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car. Paul Thomas Anderson, Jane Campion, and Steven Spielberg.
Fucking give it to Jane. You know?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. They could give it to Spielberg. I think that would be my pick, actually.
I don't know. Are we really giving Spielberg another Oscar?
It's really well done.
He's old and he's white. He's had his time.
I think out of any of those movies, he directed the best movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll see when I watch it. But...
It could be Jane also.
Yeah, she did a really great job. And then what were the first
I
ones?
wouldn't pick any. I love Licorice Pizza also. I think that would, but I don't think they're going to pick that because it's too,
I don't think so.
It's too original and unique and different.
So, like, Guillermo doesn't have a nomination for director?
Nope.
Because he did some great directing in
director.
that. That was really weird.
He won Best Director, like, last time he made a movie.
Yeah.
The last movie he made, and now he's not even nominated. Yeah, like, it makes no sense. Like, the awards make no sense.
And honestly, like, Joachim Trier for The Worst Person in the World, that could have easily earned a Best Director nomination. It only got screenplay and foreign, right? So...
Yeah, Nightmare Alley is barely on here. I thought that was really good. I expected to
I
see
watched
more
it a couple
of it.
nights
I liked
ago.
it more than Don't Look Up.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm seeing it this week. So Best Picture then. Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story.
I think Power of the Dog's got the best chance, but if I'm being cynical, then it'll go to either Don't Look Up or Coda, because Coda is a very, like... Oscar baity movie, and Don't Look Up is just fucking stupid and topical, and of course, you know, like
I hope Don't Look Up doesn't win.
It could fucking
that would be
the best
worst.
picture went to Green Book, Ralph.
Picks.
It went to Green Book.
That would be one of the worst picks. I would say my cynical pick would be Power of the Dog, even though I don't hate that movie. Like, I don't think it's bad.
What's cynical about it?
My pick would be West Side Story again. I think that's the best movie out of any of these.
Okay.
Or Dune, but I think West Side Story. It could be that. I mean, I hope it's one of those and not Don't Look Up. I kept calling it Don't Look Now.
That's
another movie, yeah. Alex, did you have anything to add to Best Picture?
Nah, I feel like Power of the Dog's probably most likely. There's loads of good buzz around it.
All right, what are our snubs this year? Because I got a few.
Green Knight?
Yeah, I mean, like, I could understand at least a cinematography nomination for Green Knight, right?
Yeah.
Like, that could be, like, even a nod like that.
Makeup.
The Lighthouse got a cinematography nomination, so...
True.
Yeah, you're right. I love The Green Knight.
Yeah.
French Dispatch?
French Dispatch.
Yeah.
I would consider that a snub, if not only because Wes Anderson movies are constantly nominated anyway. Like, I wouldn't expect a Best Picture, but I would expect, like, maybe cinematography or maybe a performance or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Was Judas and the Black Messiah on there at all?
That was last year.
For
no reason.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
I guess it depends on, it was kind of released wide this year.
Yeah, it didn't have any kind of a release until 2021, but it was counted as a 2020 film because their eligibility goes up until like January or February.
Yeah,
which is stupid.
They release it limited on like Christmas, like the very end of the year.
No, they didn't. It literally wasn't even released until 2021. They didn't even release it like in Christmas.
That's weird.
Yeah, it wasn't released. Its earliest release was February 2021. Yeah, but it was still nominated.
They counted as last year. Yeah,
which is funny because it was premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in February 2021, but Coda was premiered at the Sundance Film Festival the same year as Judas, the Black Messiah, and that's nominated for Best Picture this year. Judas was nominated for Best Picture last year, so yeah, it's really fucking stupid. Just like, I don't know, just do the year. It's like pretty obvious what year it came out. It's nonsense. Yeah, Crypto Zoo for animation.
There's some foreign ones.
Yep.
That they're missing out on.
Hive, that would have been a great pick for foreign.
Sure.
Intergalde, that was like one of my favorite foreign movies. Compartment Number 6, like I thought for sure was going to get a fucking best foreign language nomination. Compartment Number 6 was not only awesome, but it's awesome in the way that like I would assume the Academy would even like it too, sort of thing. It's like really fucking good.
There should be more Nightmare Alley also, and the card counter. Those aren't foreign. I'm just saying.
Titane?
The card counter is a snub. Yeah,
kind of a fucking snub.
Yeah.
Too cool for the Oscars. Way too cool for the Oscars.
They don't like anything horror, do they? Really?
I mean, they like Guillermo's version of horror, where it's mostly a drama and then some gore kind of happens at a couple parts, and that's it. But they don't like anything actually challenging, right? So
yeah.
They only like dramas. They don't seem to like anything experimental or like a genre film.
No.
I'm shocked, like Lord of the Rings one. That's like such a rare occurrence, Oh, it's because they're great. I mean, they deserve them. Yeah, you can't ignore them.
Documentaries, All Light Everywhere. Amazing documentary everyone should check out. And also, Listening to Kenny G, which is currently my favorite movie of the year. I thought it was an awesome documentary.
Okay.
And then like fuck,
other
like,
movies.
Red Rocket should have been nominated for a bunch of shit. Honestly,
yeah, Red Rocket, Pig.
Like, Sean Baker gets nominated all the time. The Humans, super snubbed. Fuck, there's so many interesting movies that they could have nominated. I would have been fine with a Pig nomination. You're absolutely right, but like they pick the most boring possible shit they possibly can, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, with the recency bias, it's just so goddamn boring.
It's all the big movies. It's like, it's just the biggest movies from the biggest studios.
Boring and obvious.
Skewed. Yeah. Bias.
No point.
Yeah, there's a lot they're missing on there. Some good movies on there. And that's the Oscars.
Yay!
Fucking sucks.
I love the Oscars.
My favorite.
They're just there to promote indie films, even though you should just watch them.
They're to promote Free Guy Disney movies.
Yay!
Gem known as
He
Free
used
Guy.
the lightsaber and the Captain America shield at the same time.
Yeah, and Chris Evans shows up, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah.
What is he says? He's like, "Oh shit!
Oh boy!"
That's what I want from movies. I want to clap.
All right. Speaking of snubs, we all watch Titane?
Hell yeah!
Is that how you say it?
Titane, yes. Well, because it's a French title that translates to titanium, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think it makes sense. I think it works for that.
No, it does make sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Spoiler discussion, because we've all seen it. I kind of want to get into, what it's about, because this is a conversation that I wasn't really able to have when I briefly reviewed it on my own channel, because I didn't want to spoil anything. But what did you both think?
Loved it. I was a big
Alex,
fan
you just saw it, right?
Yeah, I only saw it yesterday, so my
cool.
mind is filled with kind of unorganized thoughts about it. But I can't stop thinking about it. And I enjoyed Raw a lot, which came out in like 2016. But I think this This is something more. This is elevating that kind of.
Yeah, do you think this is better? Because I think it's a better
100% better than
I think it's a better film. Yeah, I think it's a better film. I think
there's more going on. There's more to kind of unpack and
much more well made. Yeah.
Yeah.
My only criticism would be like with the ending.
Oh yeah.
Like for the most part though, yeah. Because I think I gave this a 7. No, I didn't like certain aspects of the ending, which we could get into later because that's like the very end.
Yeah.
But like that was like my only real gripe with it. Mostly it's great. And it's fucking crazy, like the logic of it and like the gore and the gross out and like the nudity. It's like crazy. It's
the body
one of those
horror.
insane French movies like you could watch. Yeah,
yeah, and it won the Palme d'Or. It won the fucking Palme d'Or. You crazy French bastards. Love it.
Which is weird because it's a horror movie, you know.
Yeah, but Cannes is cool and the Oscars are not cool. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. You know, it's crazy. Like, even if they didn't want to nominate it for like, a best foreign language or whatever, like they didn't nominate The Lighthouse for Best Picture. They just gave it cinematography. Vincent Lindon, the guy who played the father character, Adrian's father, he did a fucking phenomenal job. He's like one of my favorite parts of the movie. Like the emotion in his character and like excellent. How his character is played. Like he's not a single moment of his performance that I didn't believe. Like it's like it hurts watching the guy, you know, and that's a good thing. It's absolutely insane just how great his performance is in this movie. Like he should have a fucking best actor or best supporting
crazy
actor
character,
nominee, honestly. Like if the Oscars cared about performances, he would have some sort of a nominee.
I mean, every character's unlikable in this. Like she's like a serial killer. She's like murdering people like 25 minutes into the movie. I'm like, what the fuck? People running around naked. They probably didn't like it at the Academy because it's so disturbing. Like
they're scared.
It makes you uncomfortable.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's all this this gross out stuff in it. But yeah, it's so much better than Raw.
The cinematography is dope. Like it's just it's a super well made film in like all senses. Yeah. Like it looks it's incredibly well made. Like they can't. The Oscars has to admit they don't give a shit about well-made movies. They just give a shit about movies that don't make them feel uncomfortable. Like that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, they didn't nominate like Midsommar either, even though that's a great horror movie. It reminded me of that. I love art house horror movies like this. You know, that's what this is. You know, it doesn't really matter like the logic of it at some point because it's about, you know, it's about woman who fucks a car, right?
I want to talk about the deeper meanings, but we can go into that conversation whenever.
Yeah, that's
we don't
literally
have to
what
go
it's
into
about.
That. We don't have to go into that right away.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter. Like you're like, how does that work? You know, it's because it's a movie.
Well, I mean, and just like Jodorowsky makes his
like,
movies, it's like you don't have to. It doesn't have to be about something literal. You can tell a literal story with those characters, but it can be at service of telling like a deeper story about a conversation or about ideas you're presenting about the world or gender or society, you know?
Yeah, and you say gender, and that was one of my big takeaways. Is I think on like a deeper level, if you take away the surface level, this is about a serial killer woman who's going around killing people until she impersonates a missing boy, and then is kind of wrapped up in this drama with the dad. Yeah, when you start to deconstruct it and start thinking about it, the gender roles and the way they try to deconstruct them within the movie are fascinating. Like having the dad is a firefighter, which is like a stereotypical kind of masculine role, and the woman she starts off in the movie as she's kind of like a stripper, a dancer, a showgirl. Again, a stereotypical kind of female role. That over the course of the movie, she goes to hide her sexuality, hide her gender using this tape and shaving her head, and it kind of comes to a head in scenes like later on in the movie where she's gone through that kind of transition and she's on the bus and there's a black woman sitting opposite her and who's being hounded by these boys at the back. Who are giving her grief while she gets to kind of hide away and avoid these stereotypical kind of gender interactions, and just the whole way that manifests is fascinating and is really subtle and well done, and it doesn't come across as like it's trying to preach some sort of message. It's very it lets you kind of come to the conclusions on your own through the visuals, and just these inverse characters, this yin and yang of this lead woman and this father, both broken in different ways and ultimately coming to a similar point together, even though it's from completely different backgrounds. That's really the heart of it to me.
Yeah, that moment on the bus was essentially like her point where she could have went back to the life of living as a woman, but then kind of got confronted with and reminded of like, oh shit, this is the life of living as a woman, with those guys like harassing, and she's like, oh, I guess I'm going back to living life as a man, right? So in some way that was her just coming to terms with that, or I guess influencing her decision in that way.
And they play with those expectations in the beginning of the film too, where she's kind of stalked by a super fan who goes to her car and is just harassing her and being just too forward and physical. And your inherent kind of reaction is to feel sympathy for her, but it quickly spins, and you gradually learn that she's actually more of the kind of predator in the situation, using her standing to manipulate.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. Something that I wanted to mention. So, to me, I think that there's a huge connection between how they use the idea of femininity in the film and how they use cars like vehicles, right? Yep. Especially, it's a pretty clear concept that they're trying to tie together, especially in the first part of the film, where there's literally, sexy girls on sexy cars sort of thing. And the way that vehicles they're sexualized to a great degree. We have these sort of like shows where we present them and clean them up. And then you can think about it even further of like, okay, well, the connection they might be trying to draw is like, okay, well, these are things for men to look at, take control over, guide around without any real autonomy of their own, sort of thing, right? So that could be definitely an idea that they're trying to get at. But something that I found really interesting about this movie when I watched it, not a lot of people are aware of this because, not a lot of people are aware of, I guess, language in this way. But unlike the English language, the French language, among many others, is one where they use essentially gendered pronouns for objects. So when you say the car, you can either say le car or la car. Only one is correct grammatically. And for a vehicle, it's la voiture is how you say the car in French. So that's the feminine version of that. And there's actually been studies done where they've taken polls from two different societies, one where they have a feminine pronoun for an object, and one where they have a masculine pronoun for an object, and they poll them and they ask questions about what they feel about the object without, revealing what the poll's supposed to reveal. And they found that like just that alone, the gendered associations through language that people use for inanimate objects wind up creating these weird psychological associations where people will say like, oh yeah, no, this is like, they'll use words like voluptuous or like, like any sort of like traditionally feminine word to describe a car, whereas in countries where they would have a masculine word to describe a car, they would use more like rugged or like tough or dependable or all these things. And it's very interesting just how these subconscious things that play in our mind in how language is used wind up influencing how we feel about certain things. So I thought it was very interesting that in particular in the French language, and this is a French movie, la voiture is it's a feminine word to describe car. So it actually fits into the themes of the film that it is a French movie.
No, that's a great point about the masculine and feminine associations of the language. I'd completely forgotten about that. Bring it back to my learning French in secondary school days, but yeah, that really does feed into the whole messaging of the movie, and it does work so well metaphorically, and just every element complements each other so well. But for me, the real draw was this like nurturing, like fireman character, and
he's so
his
great.
Loss, and and just that side of him where it's questioning his motivations, because clearly he knows something's up, but he's refusing to believe. He wants it. He wants his son to be back so badly that he's willing to forego any logic. And the kind of drama that comes from that is heartbreaking, and leading up to that ending where he's kind of getting this surrogate son almost to replace that hole, and just ignoring the the suffering that had to come as a result of it, and just being blind to that misery. But I'm curious, Ralph, what it is about that ending that you don't get on with, because that was one of the things that kind of brought it together for me and wrapped up like that character's arc, especially quite nicely.
Baby.
Yeah, with the car baby.
It was mainly the CGI on it. First of all, I know how you felt about it.
Oh, did you not like it?
No, I didn't. I didn't like the CGI on it. I didn't like the design of like the car baby. I thought that was kind of like, it was disappointing. I was looking forward to the car baby. That was one of the hooks.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Car baby. Yeah, and the car baby was disappointing.
Yeah, I was curious if they were going to go into the like Cronenberg like body horror. We're going to show you a human car hybrid thing. If they're going to go,
if that had like really delivered, then yeah, because like the rest of the movie delivers. If Cronenberg, or like the Carpenter movie we're going to talk about later, has some great scenes like that. I was missing some of that in the ending.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, my
nothing like thematically or anything like
my
that.
only issues like on a second watch, like I really love this movie. On a second watch, there are some like almost like weird kind of, I don't know. One of the characters' names is Conscience, and he only says it like once near the beginning of the film. The second watch, it's like much more obvious, like when you know what type of movie it is, where it's like, oh, okay, right. And so then you start looking into things about like how does he interact with like the rest of the characters, and you know, he's the one that's trying to essentially be like, hey, something's up here. You're not his son. Like, he is the one that's trying to enforce that. And I guess the question would be like, okay, whose conscience is that? Is that Vincent Lindon's conscience, or is that the main girl's conscience? I'm not sure. But he's the guy that winds up being essentially killed in the explosion at the firefighter. They're trying to put out they've got the gas canister. I don't know. Perhaps that was intentional from Vincent. I don't know. But one way or another, that sort of leads into, I guess, Vincent's character just being like, okay, I accept this no matter what it is. And I'm pretty sure that leads into it. And that's all interesting. I'm wondering if there's a better way that could have been done where the character isn't literally named Conscience. Because in retrospect, that does seem a bit like, kind of spelling it out.
A bit on the nose, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's a better, like, you could have a name that also translates to that. Like, there's characters in Synecdoche, New York, where it's not you're not just literally saying my name is Death or whatever, but it's like you look up the etymology and like how the name originated, and it's like, oh, and you get there, right? I'm wondering if there's like a better way that could have been
under
done.
A few layers.
Yeah. Just tiny things like that, I guess. But otherwise, I love what it's going for. I think it's super well made, super well produced film, and there's it does benefit on a second watch.
Yeah, I can imagine that. It's throwing a lot at you.
Yeah, and like what I love most about the film is like I saw it for the first time at least a few months ago, and parts of the movie are just so clear and memorable. It sticks with you. Yeah. It does. Yeah. It's not like a disposable experience. It's one that resonates, and that's what I love most about movies, is just ones that you continue to think about, that you're able to chew on more, And also just the way it uses the extremism too. It's not just for shock horror. There's also some kind of humor in there too. Like, I love it. Yeah. The main character gets her hair caught in that pierced nipple, and there's that kind of awkward interaction. They do manage to get humor in there. Yeah. So it's not just the same kind of emotional beats again and again. I was actually reminded of Martyrs a fair amount, another kind of French extremism sort of movie, especially the kind of close-ups on the scratching the same place on the skin and all these bruises and vicious injuries, and focusing on it and forcing you to look at it and take it in. I was wincing quite a lot of this movie. The nipple piercing part wasn't done solely for comedic purposes. I think that there was kind of like a thematic sort of thing going on there too. I think that her nipple piercing, I believe, was made out of some sort of metal, like perhaps that was titanium also, because later in the film, shortly after, when they're making out on the pier or whatever, And the girl's like, "Is this your first time? You can go lower, you know, right?" And she's just sucking on the nip,
transfixed
right?
on it. That's
yeah,
right,
and she's biting like literally on the piercing. It's like, oh, the second watch, it's like, she's interesting in the piercing, not the person. So it's like, I wonder what that says about it. It's almost like that incident where her hair got caught. It was like magnetically, or like part of her body was like, gravitating onto it, even if it was just her hair. Like, I don't know. I'll have to think about that more, like what that necessarily means, but there's clearly some intention there as well.
Yeah. I was also, one of my favorite scenes actually was the dance sequence to that Feature Islands song. I'm a big Feature Islands fan, so I happen to recognize it, and the lyrics of that song actually work really well with the movie, saying stuff like, "And this is where we were when I showed you the dark. Inside of me, in spite of me, on a bench in the park, you said to me, this is not you, but I've seen the way that bodies lie and bodies tend to break." It's beautifully done sort of scene.
Yeah.
Communicates what the movie's going for really well.
If you look at the song title and artist name, like at the very minimum for every licensed song that appears in the film, there's a good connection you can make, or the lyricism also. So like the first song that we get at the very beginning is called "Doing It to Death." I forget by the artist, but the artist had something to do with like kill, die, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's where a lot of the first part of the film, she is more or less just a killer. She transforms into something else by the end of it. But there is the most like death and violence, like at the beginning in that way. And then when they first start dancing, the father and son dance sort of thing, Father and Adrian, when it's just the two of them, and she wasn't even talking to him at that moment. The song playing was a song from the Zombies called "She's Not There," which is sort of like, I guess, helping to facilitate that idea of like, okay, she's now dropped her role as female, she's now living as this male character. So I found them using "She's Not There" as a kind of like a clever little nod to that too. There's a lot going into this. It's like super well thought out. It's intelligent, it's purposeful, it's super well made. Fuck you, Academy, you goddamn assholes. Like, you're not cool enough. Whatever.
Very interesting use of nudity as well. It's not just to sexualize, it's very withdrawn, and they're just willing to show the truth, the reality of it. And it's the whole gambit too. Like at the beginning of the movie, it's like the ultra kind of sexualized dancing sexually on the car, but then you do see the kind of pregnant, hunched over, hidden kind of body. Like, it's just a really good use of nudity, because it can be a bit much sometimes when it's just about sex scenes, just to like some of those Game of Thrones sex scenes or whatever, where it's just about the sex without.
This is a female writer and director, and she's French, so it's gonna get a bit raunchy, but it's not gonna be like completely tasteless, So
yeah, it's French, right?
Yeah,
but even when it does go into the extremities where she's like fucking cars, the way it's shot and the way they present it is disturbing, and in the good kind of the body horror way. It doesn't take it too far.
I'm sure it'll awaken someone's fetish. I'm sure she's ruined some lives with this film.
I don't have much else to say about it. There's other movies to talk about.
Yeah, sure. We can wrap this up. I just want to mention one more little thing that pisses me off about the ending. I get really triggered over like bad CPR in movies. Like, I'm sorry, dude, you're a fireman. You shouldn't be doing CPR on the bed. That's not like, that doesn't make any sense. You were doing shit CPR. Like, I get it. There's a lot of other things I could be mad about in this movie. It's non-literal. She was able to kill like 6 people, and there's a lot about it. Whatever. I just shouldn't complain, but I get triggered by bad CPR, and especially if the character is like a fucking firefighter and they were doing CPR earlier.
Yeah, he is supposed to be a lifesaver. Right? Yeah, I had a great time watching this, and just from this conversation alone, I can see just how much more there is to unpack and delve into, and I can't wait to see it again. So this is a strong 4-star for me, but potential to go up. Yeah, weird and creepy.
Yeah, I'm with you. 4-star. Same rating.
Dank. I'm a very high 8 out of 10. It's closer to a 9 than a 7. Loved it. Cool. Dope movie. Dank movie. Dank movie for dope people, and the Oscars is a bunch of old farts. So fuck them. I guess we could quickly mention there was a Jackass movie. It was the fourth one.
Yeah, it was nice to have the Jackass guys come back. I don't know if you guys were you big into like the TV show and the whole trilogy of movies.
I'd seen like those straight to DVD like Steve-O documentaries where they just brought around a fucking camera and he was like, hey, I'm going to put a bunch of drugs in my ass, and like flies across international borders and then just like harasses everybody in the hotel. It's like to the point where it's like, this isn't even funny. This is just kind of fucked up. Like, I saw all that shit. So yeah.
And to be honest, those original Jackass movies, aside from, I'd say, some of the BAM stuff with his parents, it holds up pretty well, like as far as not being, just kind of hateful, just straight up. It's usually comedic, funny. They have a good spin on whatever they're trying to do, some kind of joke in there.
It's good that they made kind of a transition into like they less harassing people and more harassing themselves,
Or when other people are the expense of the joke is on them. Like it's usually when it's like Johnny Knoxville in makeup being like exploded around, just getting funny reactions. Like that's funny. It's not like just beating people up, beating your parents up, whatever, and putting it in a movie. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was funny.
What do you think?
Funny cameos.
Loved it. That's all I gotta say.
Like, it's only in theaters. How full was both of your theaters?
It wasn't that full, but
yeah, it wasn't that full. But I did go at a weird time of the day. To be fair.
Yeah, exactly. I saw like the week after.
There was only like 10 people in my theater, but there were still good crowd laughs. This is a movie where it's like it doesn't even matter if you're in a theater with like fucking nobody. You're gonna get some sort of like a comedic emotional reaction. Like, it's dope. It's impossible not to react to this movie.
Did you like the whole ode to Godzilla at the beginning?
That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't one of my favorite openings. Like, I don't know how to compare.
It was funny.
Jackass movies. Like, I like this one more than this one. Yeah, they're all funny. Like, they all have great bits. Like one of the bits I don't like as much, and like the ones before is like the dirty grandpa kind of part. But they kind of cut down that in this one, which I appreciated.
Yeah, it was.
And I feel like a lot of
bring back the character.
The new players they introduced, I feel a lot of them add a lot. Like there's the celebrities in it, like Eric Andre, right? But I loved like Dark Shark. Like the Dark Shark part of the movie was very funny.
Which one was that?
He's like he's like the dad or uncle or like one of the guys,
he was great.
Like
I love
guys.
him.
And they do like the spider
thing. Anything with animals is always great.
Yeah, they do like the spider, and he's like grabbing on to like Johnny Knoxville. Like it's so fucking funny. Yeah, like Dark Shark was one of my favorite parts of the movie for sure.
Yeah, he was funny.
But yeah, I was laughing a lot, like the bits they were doing. There's a lot of like dicks in this movie, like a lot of dicks and buttholes, and like close-ups on dicks, and like like you were talking about the audience.
Movie for straight people.
There was a little girl in the theater there with her dad, like, and they were like singing.
Oh, really?
And she was, but like there's fucking weird. Like close-ups on dicks, like it's fucking disgusting. Like, yeah, you don't take your kid.
Well, as long as they're not actually gay, it's fine.
I don't know. I would never take a kid to something like this. It's fucking disgusting. Like, it's so fucking gross.
I'm joking.
She was laughing. To be fair, I think she thought it was funny, but I don't know. Like
maybe she's European. Maybe she doesn't give a shit.
I don't know. But they're like fucking. What are they doing? They're like putting bees on their dicks. And like there's like close-ups on
all the animal. The bear one.
They were pushing it.
I'm terrified of bears. So that one.
They were pushing it.
Yeah, that guy in that bear one, he
Aaron McGee.
He gets the like worst end of the stick. Yeah.
Oh, Aaron got fucked.
He's a fucking punching bag. Jesus.
Even in the other ones, like
Terrorist Taxi,
like,
best skit ever.
I think I think that is the best. It's so hardcore.
Can't get better.
It's so fucking intense.
They glue pubes to his face. Yeah, he's like, why did I even agree to do this shit? In the Terrorist Taxi
range of emotion.
I'm like, why? It was awful. Yeah.
Everybody watch Jackass #2 for Terrorist Taxi. The final prank.
That's like, I think that's like the most offensive thing they've done, and that's like
offensive.
That's really saying something.
Okay.
Yeah, a guy dressed so like he's like dressed up like a terrorist or whatever.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know. There's like some minor issues I had with it. Like one of the music choices was like really lame and didn't add to anything. It sounded like nepotism.
There was one skit that seemed fake. It's with Johnny Knoxville hanging off the, I don't know, he's like an electrician or something. He's hanging off a pole and like a woman comes up to him. Did that seem?
Oh
fake
yeah, that
to
was
you?
more of a.
I
That seemed
mean,
like a skit.
you never know how many times they do it and how many different people they like. Some people are just real characters. Some people really are that theatrical when they talk.
It was just weird. She was just sitting there. I was wondering what she was doing. Maybe she like worked for them and she was just hired.
Yeah, you never know how these things get set up. Like you can there can be a billion reasons of why someone was just sitting there. You could have had like she answered an ad on Craigslist, but it was secretly the producers, and they said, "Hey, go meet at this bench," and then they closed off the area for other people or something. Like, there's a billion ways that things can happen to be set up that we just don't know about.
Yeah, that's true. I've just never noticed it being fake ever. I mean, all of it isn't really like you could tell. It's like close-ups on everything. It's really gross. Yeah, but it's fucking hysterical. I thought.
I found the nostalgia bent to be kind of interesting because it's just so many movies are doing it now. Like the Spider-Man movie, Star Wars coming back.
They decided in the end credits.
Yeah, and kind of redoing some of their older skits, but with like a slightly new spin on it or whatever. It's just you can't escape that nostalgia, man. It's too powerful.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking about that angle until they did that manipulative end credits sequence.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I guess this is a nostalgia bait movie. Fuck.
Nice. It works too well.
Didn't have to do that. And then they just selectively edit things like, oh, we're not showing Bam.
Yeah.
And then they go Ryan Dunn forever. It's like, okay, kind of weird. The movie didn't need to be that. I understand why they did that. They're trying to make it more like, oh, we're wrapping everything up. It's from beginning to end. Don't you remember when you weren't so old? This is like your life story here. Like, go
They've been
fuck
doing this forever.
It's really
at this
annoying.
point.
Yeah, I feel like people would have seen it anyway.
I mean, Johnny Knoxville doesn't do, or they don't do as much as they used to. I don't think Johnny Knoxville. He does the classics, right? He shoots up out of a cannon, right? It's like the same shit he always does. He does some skits, yeah. They've been doing this a long time.
The fact that they brought these younger characters in to do some of the stunts for them, I think is their way of testing the waters of like, okay, can we continue this where they can do most of the stunts? Like, I'd be happy with Johnny Knoxville just being the guy that pushes the button that launches a projectile into someone's penis.
Yeah,
like,
he's a great host.
Yeah. I don't need him to be getting hurt. I don't want to watch him. Like, it's not... I'm sorry, but like the whole him getting hit by a bull thing, like that's not why I watched the movie. That wasn't funny to me.
Those are great.
That's just kind of scary. Movie. Like I don't want to see the guy die. You know, like fuck, I can live without that shit. Get one of the younger guys to do it. I don't know. Like fuck, he's almost 50.
I knew before I would see Johnny Knoxville get hit by a bull.
Oh
and
my god!
See him get shot up by a rocket.
It was fun without it.
It's
just like that's just kind of stressful. I don't want to see them get actually like seriously permanently injured or die.
Yeah, and put him straight in an ambulance too.
They all contribute. That's the thing. Everyone contributes.
I know. They're almost 50.
Even like the side guys. Everyone does something, right?
I die from that at age 30.
The cup test, I guess, is the name of the one. That was one of my favorite ones. The one with Aaron getting hit in the nuts, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, he was literally a punching bag in this movie.
A pro wrestler. Yeah. Oh my god. You see like a dent in the fucking cup. Yeah. And it's like a metal cup.
Yeah, that was funny. That pogo thing fucking sucked. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Jesus Christ. Putting your genitals through a lot of torture, but I don't know. Some people are into it. Maybe he's got a fetish for it. Win-win.
Yeah, like the snapping turtle in the beginning. With his
God. I wouldn't... Yeah, that's... There's a lot of... There's a lot of shit that I would not do. There's some things in this that I would be like, okay, I can do that, but a lot that I can't.
Yeah, that's a question. If for the kind of money they're getting, would you seriously consider it?
The pogo?
Oh, that's the thing. You got to choose a less extreme one. What's a less extreme one that wouldn't?
Sometimes they just do pranks on you too.
They did one where they were doing like a fucking shock collar. Like I've done that. I did it just to prove I could. I had a friend that had a fucking dog shock collar. I was like, do it again. Do it to the highest level. I'm like, what's the highest that anybody's done in this house? They're like 14. Disturbing. I'm like, we're doing 14. And then we maxed it out. We couldn't even get any higher. I have like an insane pain tolerance. I just it's not about the pain. I just don't want to do permanent damage to myself. If it's just pain, I'll do it.
They pull like really bad pranks on each other. Like you don't even get to pick. That's why I would not.
I mean, you signed some sort of a contract at the beginning.
Well, I would love to be there for that.
Yeah.
When you have to they're signing it, they're like, fuck, it's like $2 million, but god damn it, I'm gonna get this shit beat out of me. All right, I guess I gotta do it.
I mean, I looked at the budget. The budget said $10 million. I don't know how accurate that is. So if the budget was $10 million, like how much money is everybody reasonably getting if the budget's only $10 million?
They get paid, but maybe they get a percentage of like
maybe
the
they
box
get
office
that,
also because they're all
passive income. But
I don't know. The guy getting pig cum dropped on his head was funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like shit like that. Like you don't get to pick. Like it's just gross. It's just disgusting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we give it out of 10. Unless we have more to talk about in terms of the themes or the deeper meanings of Jackass Forever.
Yeah, it's a really deep movie.
It's hard to rate. Yeah, I can only rate it really as far as how it lines up with the previous movies, and it's pretty similar in my mind. It's kind of weird seeing them all old and like nearly dying even closer because they're just all fucked up and like had years of injuries to get over. But I enjoyed myself. I give it like a 4-star. For what it is, I don't know really what else I could want or require beside the odd thing.
Yeah, I think it delivers, right? It's very funny. I was laughing pretty much the entire thing. The shit they're doing is like insane. Yeah. The nostalgia thing, I was feeling nostalgic. Even the opening, like when he says warning, we're professionals or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like the same exact clip from like probably the TV show or at least the movies.
I gotta revisit
like
all that.
It is nostalgic. Yeah, Mr. Ryan Dunn. Didn't really miss Bam.
Yeah,
Bam. I didn't give a shit about Bam. That was funny. I didn't miss Bam at all. Yeah, I missed Bam's parents. Bam's parents were funny. They would always like fuck with his mom, like driving, like skiing through her front door or whatever. I would give this an 8 out of 10. I think it delivers.
And I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. It was pretty fun. I'll probably buy it on Blu-ray. I wonder if we'll get a 4K version.
I hope they do they might do one of those 0.5s as well with some of the like unused footage.
So you can see the dicks in 4K.
Yeah, because they always film way more footage than they put in the movie.
Yeah,
so.
there must be tons of stuff that's not
why
used.
not?
Yeah, that's the credits too. That's what I love about these movies too. I always stay for the credits. Like I watch the entire credits because I want to see like all the bonus stuff.
Fun.
And it's usually funny, but it's not worth putting in the movie, I guess. You know, because they want to keep it short. Yeah, the movies are really short. I think that helps. They don't keep you there too long. It's just a bunch of dumb skits and then you leave. Yeah, there's not much to criticize because there's no story or anything. It's just a bunch of idiots.
Plot hole.
I love them. They're hilarious. But yeah, they're doing insane, stupid things.
All right, it is time for the movie recommendation. Spoilers for The Thing, directed by John Carpenter from 1982. I also saw the 1951 The Thing from Another World. Ralph and Alex didn't, but I would like to talk about it. I don't have to do that right now.
I saw the remake.
Ralph saw the 2011 remake.
With the same name.
You saw that too, right?
I mean, a while ago. I didn't rewatch it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Alex,
I needed
to. I think we've all seen it.
I'm familiar with it.
We should talk about that. Yeah, maybe after.
We all love The Thing.
Hell yeah.
All right, 10 out of 10. We're done. No, let's talk about it.
Talk about that first one. Oh no, I want to hear you talk about.
Oh, you want to? Okay, let's do it in order. All right.
Yeah, let's go in like order.
The Thing from Another World.
What's this 50s one?
Yeah, 1951. So what's interesting to note is the opening titles, the way that the letters kind of crawl in or like pierce through the screen, is pretty identical to the 80s movie. So they were making kind of an homage to that. Another homage that they made in the 80s movie was when they go to the Norwegian base and they see this big chunk of ice sort of like brought out. Basically, in the 50s movie, it's as if you were watching the Norwegians. They're not Norwegians, but they actually go and they do the expedition. They're like, they stand in a circle. They're like, there must be a flying saucer under here. And then they dig like a big chunk of ice out. They bring the ice into their base and they just do so many fucking stupid things. They're like, okay, well, we've got the chunk of ice here with the specimen inside. We need to keep this room cold. Let's smash out the windows. So they smash out the window, even though they just brought it in through a door. You could just leave the door open. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, right? It's so weird. And like, the original, both of these films are based off of the original novella called Who Goes There in 1938. And so this 1950s film, they were the ones that took more liberties and strayed away from the original novella, whereas the 80s one was kind of a return to it. So the 80s film is all about like paranoia, and it's like it's able to transform into people like who's who, like that. Those are kind of like the thematic ideas and emotions at play. Whereas the 50s one, it doesn't transform into anybody. It's just a fucking Frankenstein. Like, it's literally just a dude wearing a Frankenstein. If you look at the pictures, it's a Frankenstein. And it's really fucking lame. There's like barely any action whatsoever. And it's not like the dialogue's good either. 90% of the movie is just a lot of these supposed scientists describing just absolutely unnecessary speculation about things that they have no reason to believe. They're like, they insist that it's from Mars. They don't know that. There's no reason why they should know that. They call him a Martian all the time. They call it a man. They're like funny. They call it all the time. They speculate about things like, I think they determine that it's like made out of plants or something, and so they're calling it like, oh this carrot man from Mars.
Sounds
and
very
like,
silly.
and like nothing's happened yet, and they're all just entirely speculating. And these like renowned scientists are saying things like their intelligence far above ours. Like you haven't seen it do anything. Like the thing came to life and then threw a dog and then like ran away on fire, and it's like its intelligence is far greater than our human minds could ever possibly comprehend. Like, holy shit, so much baseless speculation. And then like the action that would take place would be like, I don't know, an hour through the movie there would be like it runs in the room and they're like, and they throw fire at it and it leaves through the window, and it's over in like 20 seconds, and then just back to more baseless speculation. And then and so they say things like, what if they came to Earth to conquer it and turn the human race into subservient slaves? Like, you're all so ahead of yourselves. Like, these are conversations that are just filling up time in the film. They're absolutely useless. It's just exposition and speculation, and that's it. It's so fucking boring. And then it never pays off with anything. It's an awful design.
Yeah.
The Frankenstein, there's no reason for them to believe anything in the film. It's just like boring and lazy and just unspecial, and holy shit. It's got the classic 1950s boring movie cinematography where they capture the entire body of the actors, like from head to toe, like all three of them in one shot. Like, we've got all like the actors head to toe in the frame. Like, oh, fuck off. You're doing nothing interesting here. It's fucking, it's atrocious. It's a 3 out of 10 from me. So there was just Frankenstein. Like, holy shit. There was nothing.
I'm scrolling through it on Vimeo. Every scene looks the same.
It's so
like
boring.
A bunch of people standing around. Yeah. Like, and you're saying about their framing. Yeah. It's like the same framing.
Oh yeah. It's really, really, really boringly made.
It's just shot like like how every movie was.
The most interesting part about it was like, these actors are actually taking real drags on their cigarettes because they're all just smoking. Like, not fake cigarette smoking. Oh, yeah. And then, like, when they're in Antarctica or whatever, you can see the seams in the background of, like, the of the sheet or whatever that they used for, like, the sky. It's like, oh, God. So distracting. But, yeah, I was giving it my best shot, but, like, over time, I was like, this is not offering anything here. This is fucking bullshit. So anyway, Thing 1982.
Woo!
Great movie. What do you guys think?
I'll start my thoughts with actually, I went back and found a review from the 80s from the New York Times, which I thought was really funny because I noticed the Metascore is quite low for this movie for some reason, and it's because there's a couple of like ancient articles that gave it bad scores, and one of their main points is one of the things that I think is the best about the movie, but I'll read their quote. One of the film's major problems is that the creature has no identifiable shape of its own. It's simply a mass of bloody protoplasm that, as someone solemnly explains, imitates other forms of life, and thus, for much of the movie, walks around looking like ordinary people. And that is just missing the forest for the trees so much. That is what makes the creature of the movie so brilliant and scary.
Yeah.
And all of the tension comes from that. Because that is what it's like, the bottle movie, the paranoia aspect, as you said, that is what makes this movie, and that escalation of it, and just how every character treats it with such sort of logic, and it seems so realistic as to what this group of men would feasibly do if given this horrifying scenario. I think you've said in the past, Adam, when we've had questions like, what's a horror movie where just the actions of the characters seem to just make so much sense. And
rational.
The escalation of it, and the rationality of it. And I love that kind of scientific approach where you have it kind of all trickle down from the expert, the scientist who's there, who he kind of snaps first because he has the best idea of what's happening, and as it trickles down from there, and the horror that comes from it, let alone all the different techniques for the visual effects, using stop motion in there, using matte paintings. There's so much like technicality on display. I love this movie.
The special effects are pretty incredible, especially for that time. They're super impressive stuff. I think it's the best thing about it. I mean, there's a ton of excellent things about the movie, but the creature effects, the backgrounds, even the sound, and like those aspects of the movie, like that's what made the creature scary. Like it's yelling and like all that shit. It's
the kind of human yelling. Yeah, you're right. That is one of the things that always scared me as a kid, because I was obsessed with this film when I was a kid. I found it so kind of similar to Alien. It was in like the rotation, whereas this parasitic life form.
Yeah, I love this, and Halloween, Halloween's also John Carpenter, but it's interesting to see like the same director. They're both
very
scary
different
movies, but they're very different approaches. So Halloween's very minimalist, and here's it's very much about like the spectacle and the creature effects. But
this
was
still his
scary.
first studio
it's still
movie.
Part of the story. Yeah, and it feels like a studio movie just because of how grand scale it is, like the amount of characters and but it's still a bottle film. You're still trapped ultimately, and you're in one location. But it doesn't feel like a cheap movie at all.
No.
You know? Maybe some bad special effects toward the end involving the stop motion, but I think a lot of people say that about the movie.
Yeah, not every single effect is convincing, but
not every single effect, but like the big set pieces, like when the guy eats the other guy's arm. He's like doing surgery on him, right?
Damn.
He's gonna cut him open.
Yeah, let's just try and go in order here, because I want to talk about the opening scene.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, don't apologize for that. That's fine. Yeah, like conceptually, this movie is like a perfect idea for a horror movie in terms of the emotions that it's trying to get at, in terms of like, the paranoia, right? The isolation. There's a legitimate excuse for the characters to be isolated. Like if you were to do this, like, you don't need to have like this whole weird like, cell phone excuse, not just because it's the 80s, but like, they're legitimately stranded. There's like a storm. It's, Antarctica or wherever, it's somewhere like frigid temperatures. And I love the idea where it's like, okay, well, they can't even just leave because they'll die. Like they'll just die if they leave outside. Right?
Yeah, the environment's already a threat before the alien.
Exactly, right? It's you might as well be in a spaceship.
Yeah.
And I love just how you couldn't have a better way to open the film by having this other crew, the Norwegians, already having gone through the experiences that these characters are about to. Them chasing the dog, and the first time you watch the movie, you're like, these guys are assholes. They're just shooting like a poor defenseless dog. What are they doing? Fucking kill these guys, right? Like, like what's going on? But then you realize on the second watch, like, oh God. And if you look up the translation of the Norwegian dialogue where he's just saying, it's pretending to be a dog, it's a thing, blah, 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 blah. It's not a dog, blah. And they're just crazy. There's not a better way they could have possibly opened up the film, especially just for what they're trying to go for thematically and emotionally.
And even where it goes and how it develops when that scene where they go to the Norwegian base, and it's kind of acts as a foreshadowing kind of bunch of setup as to what this creature is kind of capable of, and the horror that obviously comes from it, finding that there's that guy who's killed himself and he's frozen and the blood is frozen into icicles, and watching the creepy like found footage like stuff. There's so many like brilliant ideas and creative ways of just dumping that exposition in a really kind of straightforward like visual without needing like a bunch of dialogue. You're there with the characters, so you're feeling the same fear and the unknown that they are.
They really linger some of the shots on like those prosthetics or those dummies or whatever, where they have just that splitting face character, and they end the scene just like slowly. I don't remember if it was a zoom or just a stationary shot, but just there's so much to soak in that facial expression of that right there. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, every time I watch it, I forget just how beautifully paced it is. It gets moving so fast, and that autopsy is 23 minutes into the movie. It moves so fast, and you're getting those payoffs so quick, and they're so confident to show off those models and those what's his name, Rob Bottin, like prosthetics and everything. They're amazing. I do think as far as those kinds of scenes, the horror scenes with the big monsters like exploding out of people, I do think it peaks at the head coming off the table and becoming a spider thing. I think that's my favorite point of the movie in terms of those kind of like creature effects and just the way it ramps up and escalates scene. And the sound design and just the room being on fire and everything, because what comes after it, the kind of final action sequence where he takes it on sort of one-on-one underground, don't think it reaches the same heights, because it does have the kind of wacky stop motion, and
that's the weakest part in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And
which part?
I've always felt that way.
Close to the ending, where they're underground.
You know, after they find the kind of little UFO,
the underground part with like the stop motion.
That's the most forgettable.
With the TNT and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Sure. You're right. I agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, it's really difficult for that to bring down the experience of the movie for me, because it's so quick, and then it still ends really strong. Like the actual ending of the movie with the two of them. Yeah, the
actual ending's amazing.
And they're just like, everything's on fire, and they're like, I guess we're accepting our deaths now, and we don't know if either of us are human. Let's have a swig of whiskey and kind of like laugh at our own demise as we process this. And the fucking dun dun, like the great music from Ennio Morricone, right? Holy shit, I forgot that he composed for this until I saw his name in the credits. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Damn. What
it's pretty excellent.
Very different style than a lot of the compositions that I've heard from him.
It's iconic because of its very minimalist approach, I guess. You know, it's not what you'd expect from like one of the greatest composers. So I think he composed more music for this movie too, and they ended up. Yeah, I really appreciate like that restraint of you know, you could do a lot of music and exaggerate how epic this situation could be, but it's just like one note really, and like a couple harmonic kind of sounds, and like that's it. It's very subtle, and it's scary. It's a great score, and you know, Carpenter captured that with like the Halloween movie also. That is a great score. He understands like how to use music in like horror movies, build that suspense.
And I'm so soaked into the film while I'm watching it that I can't even remember if this was the case or not, but I feel like it was. Like, when a lot of the extreme pieces of action are taking place in the film, from what I remember right now, there wasn't a lot of music. Like, when things are getting like really fucking intense, they didn't do some like like a lot of movies would be tempted to do, because it doesn't need to accentuate that with any music. It would distract it. Like, it is fucking terrifying what's just happening. Like, that's it. What's happening is terrifying, so it doesn't need the music there, right?
Yeah. Well, it's such a well-made
sound
movie.
Design carries it.
The special effects sell it. You don't need anything else. Probably in that original movie, it sucked. It was like really boring, so they need like this music to sell it. I didn't even see it. There's probably like tons of bad music. Some of the unused music for this made it into Hateful Eight. There's a little trivia. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. Which it's kind of weird, but
yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. I appreciate the restraint. I guess that's the big takeaway from like the score and horror in general. You know, most of the movies, like them just talking and like character development. It's not all creature effects and crazy shit like that. You know, it doesn't really feel like a B movie. You do really like these characters, and like you said, their reactions are very believable. I thought Kurt Russell's great in this movie. I think this is probably his best performance.
Yeah, probably.
Kurt Russell really is. Yeah, he's like iconic in this. He does such a good job. He really has like control over the situation, and like you believe he does. Like he's like the leader. You know, he really
but by circumstance too.
He has an iconic look, like great, like even just costume design. I know it's just like jackets and stuff, but he's like a very memorable character and look. And
yeah, all the characters are super memorable.
Yeah, the ending, that other character at the ending as well.
Childs.
I forgot his name at the moment.
Yeah, Childs.
Yeah, sure. I love the ambiguousness of that ending. You know. People speculate if he's an alien or not, or if they might just die there anyway, so it might not even matter. But
yeah,
I love the ambiguous.
It's the fact you
ending.
don't get the answers though that makes it effective.
That really works for this movie. Not in every movie, but for this movie in particular, like there was no happy ending. Yeah. Like how else could it have ended but this way?
Yeah, it's super fucked up.
Yeah.
And I love that not only is there just that uncertainty and ambiguous nature of the ending, but like that exists throughout the film, because when you have these, before you even know, like, oh, the dog is a fucking monster or whatever, you might pay attention to this more on a second watch, but you see things like, okay, the cook character is leaving the music on. He was told to turn it down. And he's like, nope. And that kind of adds to his character. And then you see the dog like slowly walking around, peers into like one room, and then decides to peer into another room. And then you hear the character say like, oh, hey, buddy, what are you up to? And then you just see the silhouette of his face. You just see the shadow of his face. And it's purposefully ambiguous to make it so that like, oh, you don't know what character that was. And you can see the outline after watching the movie enough times. Like it's clear who that character was. It's I believe the guy whose head gets turned into a spider. Basically, he's the only one that kind of had like a bit more frizzy hair. And then watching it a second time too, from that moment on, you can actually see they filmed shots in the movie where you can see him reacting to certain things differently than other characters. You can see his eyes kind of like follow the dog. You can the way he reacts to like these accusatory questions. Watching the movie a few times, you can understand like, okay, yeah, that guy was definitely like the whole time since that scene was he was compromised, he was killed, right? So I love that there's this like really engaging, really thought-provoking, almost kind of like game of figuring things out that you can play as you're watching the movie. It's a very active film watching experience for me. Yeah.
That whole interrogation scene.
Yeah, like it's
especially the way it's edited.
It keeps you thinking about it. Like you can't watch this movie passively. Yeah. It's not a movie where you can just shut your brain off like most people, a certain amount of people like to think that people are supposed to do watching a movie. Like you can't with this movie, that's for sure. Or you shouldn't.
Yeah, it's making you just as paranoid as the characters.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the paranoia, that's a huge part of it. Yeah, you're like, who's the thing? And yeah, so much suspense around that. And you genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they threw red herrings at you. I'm trying to...
Yeah, who knows?
They kind of do. They do.
Yeah.
With the guy who's holding the key and...
Yeah, they do throw.
Yeah. Like you would genuinely have no idea how some of these things happened. If he was the only one with the key, right? Or like somebody must have taken McCready's jacket. There's the fact that so much of this takes place off screen and you just will never truly know is just like fucking terrifying. Like that adds so much to it.
Yeah. Well, I love the unpredictability of it. You don't know what's going to happen, and that's an aspect of films I just love. Like you genuinely don't know where the story's going to go. And in many survival things especially, that could be hard because usually in like survival movies or horror movies, the characters just get away at the end. Or like, it's like how else could they end it, right?
Yeah, they could have ruined it.
Like James Franco, 127 hours. Like, okay, he's gonna get out, right? Like, he's not gonna die there. That's how it's gonna end, right? He can't die. But here, because it's a horror movie, it's in that genre and these characters, that you do relate to on some level. Like, you don't know it's not real. It's not based on anything. You don't know what's gonna happen to them. They could all fucking die in 1 second, and that would still be in tone with the movie. And that suspense is really great. And it slowly picks them down like one at a time. Like it's so the suspense. It's just it's iconic. I think it's I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
You can see the actor's breath. They filmed in the real cold. They filmed in real locations.
I was thinking about that.
There were like a couple outdoor. There was like maybe one outdoor shot which was actually Universal Studios, and they did like a painting or whatever. But a lot of it they just filmed like either in the mountains in British Columbia or in Alaska, and they were actually there, getting in the snow, getting the breath,
like that was great.
Yeah, like not even just for the breath, but like they were using like real snow and shit. Like, yeah. Like
now it would be CG breath. Yeah. Now they're just doing CGI.
with the helicopter at the beginning flying around the base. You get the like proper scale of it, and you get some cool shots with them coming out of the room. Yeah,
it's legit.
It's all practical.
It's authentic.
Real fire, right? Real fire and all that. Real practical effects, like all it's all prosthetics and props and fake blood. Like it's awesome.
The first real death scene with the dogs gets me every fucking time. It's like traumatizing.
Oh, it's brutal.
It's so fucked up. Like when you see the dog trying to like bite its way out with the fence, like that shot always makes me like so fucking sad.
Yeah, it's disturbing. Yeah, and then the actual creature, like the grotesque dog creature,
it's so sad.
It's
like, what a hell of a way to open up your film. Exactly. Like it gets it. It's good that it gets these emotions out of me. No matter how many times I see it, it like still manages to like genuinely affect and like disturb me, which is good. Like that's the point of the movie. Like it should be disturbing. So, props.
Yeah, it's just combining the kind of like mammal mass with the insect and crustacean kind of imagery. It's just so off-putting and it makes you feel sick. It's so effective.
Yeah, and yet the characters have like a downplayed reaction. So I'd say somewhat, and I like that about the movie. They like they think about it logically, and they have to like, how do we get out of this? How do we escape? And I like that. And that's because of Kurt Russell's character again. He kind of rallies everyone together.
And you do get the different kind of types of responses. Like you do have the guy that just can't take it anymore and like tries to run away and grab the gun.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
There's the guy who's more confident. Yeah, it's just everything you could imagine someone doing. Yeah, it's genuine.
One of my favorite responses is when the head starts crawling away and the guy says, "You gotta be kidding me." Like that's just so great. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that's maybe my single favorite moment.
Like I would probably be like, he's worn down, I'd be like, fucking really? Like, like everything's on fire.
Yeah, that's the highlight of the movie. That whole scene where the guy's arms get eaten and his head comes off and becomes a spider. Yeah. Like the best special effects. It's like the most horrific. Yeah, it's gross. I mean, if I had to like sell the movie, I would use that scene.
That defibrillator scene is the first time I watched that. I was like, holy shit, because you can't possibly see that coming. That's like, it's impossible to see that shit coming. You don't know that can happen. And throughout the scene, your attention is already drawn to like other characters bickering and like there's other things happening. It's a chaotic scene from the get-go, and all of a sudden like McCready's threatening to like blow the whole place up and shit. And this guy's just trying to revive this other person, and you have no idea. And he just like his own force going into it. Oh, it's terrifying. It's genuinely terrifying. One of the most shocking moments of any horror movie. And it doesn't need like a loud musical sting to startle you. It's genuinely shocking. It doesn't need a bang. Fuck, like it's so fucked up just what's happening.
Yeah. And just the dedication to those practical effects. Like they're changing the entire model sometimes from shot to shot. Like an entirely new, like so much detail, so much love and affection poured into the, ironically, the grotesque imagery. But it just makes it so fucking vibrant and immersive when you
looks so awesome
when you're in it with it. Yeah.
What's crazy about this movie is that scene, along with the other iconic scenes in the film, they're all just hitting each other back to fucking back. It's like, alone, these scenes are like classic 10 out of 10. Like, every single time a new scene starts, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, we're getting into this part. Oh, hell yeah, we're getting into this part. And it's just like non-stop of like some of the best scenes in any horror movie ever. Like, just fucking brilliant execution and conceptually, and like, back to it's just this deserves to be known as like one of the best horror movies ever. I don't give a shit if there's like some cheesy nonsense that lasts for like a minute at some parts. There's parts of it that I find kind of stupid. There's weird shit. That computer simulation thing was kind of silly. There's some stuff that's dated.
Oh yeah, that kind of animation.
You cannot take away from just all those classic and deservedly classic scenes happening back to fucking back, like just like nobody's business. I don't know.
I do have another kind of funny quote from that New York Times article, if you don't mind me reading it. Like all such movies that don't trust themselves to keep an audience interested by legitimate dramatic means, The Thing shows us too much of the thing too soon, so that it has no place to go. What? It plods in circles from one mock horror effect to the next.
What?
It's hilarious. It's one of the best things about it. It feels like it's like an anti, the expected horror movie. It's actually confident to show off the creature that early on, so then it gets your mind racing, like, oh, it's shown its cards this early on, like what is left to come, and it keeps escalating and escalating. And to go back to the physical kind of effects, it's what's so such a missed opportunity with that 2011 the movie of the same name, remake, reboot, prequel thing came out.
Go Scrat.
Where there was kind of a story with that, where they did build these like really elaborate practical models, and you can find images of them online, but last second they just covered it all with CG, and it looks like such trash.
And Universal refuses to release the original cut. So
such a shame. Start that as a hashtag. Push something cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I like the idea that these sort of forms that we see the creature take throughout the film, like one of them's, this weird kind of like shoots goo and has tentacles. The other one's like kind of like a spider crab thing. And, like you have to imagine, like it's not really spelled out, but you'd have to imagine that like a lot of these forms are essentially replicating other beings from other galaxies or universe planets or whatever, that it has assimilated and conquered over time and then eventually left, right? Like that's an interesting way to think about it, is that like it doesn't have a form, and that any sort of form that you ever see it in is something else. It's something it's like conquered before.
Each time. That's a cool idea.
Yeah. I love this movie. Probably my favorite horror movie. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I can't think of one that I love more. There are movies that are like more well made than this that are like kind of horror, but in terms of like, the basic definition of a horror movie, like is The Shining a horror movie? Kinda. It's but I don't know if I would never call it my favorite horror movie. Like I might like The Shining more than The Thing, but it's not my favorite horror movie. Does that make sense? This is like the best you can do by making like an actual like, oh, people are going to get picked off one by one and shit's going to go, to follow the formula of what we call a standard traditional horror film. I think that this is the best that it's ever been done.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm there with you. It's probably one of my favorite Carpenter movies too. It's always been up there for me. I've listed this as a 9 out of 10, a 4.5 star. But to be honest, I don't really have any good reasons for it not to be a 10 out of 10. I do like most, if not everything about it, aside from just the odd nitpick that we've already brought up. So, I'm going to bump it up.
Hell yeah.
This is 5 star.
Yeah, boy.
All right. Well, I'm with everybody else. Yeah, this is easily one of the greatest horror movies ever made. And it's my favorite, up there with Halloween, which is also John Carpenter. I would give it a 5 out of 5 stars.
We did it.
Bam.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. All right, did you want to quickly talk about the 2011 remake?
Yeah, how was it revisiting it?
Yeah.
Haven't seen it since then.
We should, just to mention it. We don't have to talk about it long.
Yeah. I remember the only thing I remember about it is that there was bad CG. Things were really stupid, especially near the ending, and that the instead of doing the blood test, they said, well, they have fake teeth, and so they couldn't replicate fake teeth because they can't replicate anything but organic matter. I'm like, they replicated their fucking shirts. They replicated their clothes. Exactly. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Didn't make any sense.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're right. The blood test was much better.
Yeah. But they feel like they have to... we need the same scene, but we can't just do the exact same thing again. Let's, fuck.
The people shit all over the CG in this movie. It starts out bad, and it gets even worse as it goes along. And by that very ending, it's like the CGI is really bad.
I'm remembering some bad chase scene at the end, but just bits and pieces.
Yeah, that's what's in my mind as well.
Yeah, it's just that the CGI in this movie really kills it. It makes it look so fucking fake.
Yeah.
It's so fake looking. And yeah, it's pretty much the same movie, aside from like the horrible CGI. It's just the same movie, just much worse. Yeah. And those effects are terrible.
So it's like kind of like a prequel. They're like, oh, we're the Norwegians, but we're speaking English. What? I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, is it the Norwegian characters? Like the equivalent?
It's like a mix, I think.
They're like rewriting it.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, why? They filmed it with practical effects. Like you said, Alex, they filmed it, and you could find it online. Like, why CG over those and spend more money? It just doesn't make sense to me, and it looks worse.
Yeah,
they must have been so scared for some reason.
Who knows? Because like honestly, I'm trying to be critical and charitable. So who knows? Like maybe the pictures look good. Maybe it looked like shit when it was all together. We'll never know because we don't know the cut. It's kind of one of these like Hodorowski's Dune situations where you never really know what it was gonna be like. You can only kind of like fan nerdgasm over like the potential of what it was like. I would like to believe that the practical effects would have looked great. And I think that if Universal, they don't give a shit, but if Universal was like a human being trying to prove a point, they would just release the old stuff and be like, see, it does look bad, but they're not doing that. So I don't know. It probably looked better than the CG. I like, if just conceptually, I like practical effects better. So it seems like a waste of money. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I prefer something that's in camera. Yeah. I think there is some practical stuff in the 2011 movie, and it does look good, like the practical stuff that's in the movie. They should have just stuck with that. Yeah. The CG, it just looks so bad. It completely takes you out of it. And yeah, the characters suck too. I mean, aside from that,
the characters are annoying. Yeah, you're right.
Remake. Yeah, whatever. But like, that's the worst thing about the movies. They like completely messed up those effects. That's also like the biggest note.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Because then it would have at least had been fun then, right? If it had some cool practical effects. Like, it's kind of shitty horror remake, but it had some fun kills. But no, not even that. Like, it's just very boring, very lame.
It's weird that they decided to bring back the sort of final girl trope with the film too, because like the 80s version, it was just like all a bunch of dudes, which, for the 80s, I don't know what time period is the 2011 set in? Not saying women can't be scientists or whatever, but it kind of gets more into a tropey.
Doesn't it take place in
movie,
the 80s?
Yeah, it must be like just shortly before.
Yeah, it's just like 80s, a prequel. Yeah.
I'm just I'm just saying it becomes a bit more of a tropey horror film when you gender the cast like that.
Oh, definitely.
Where it's like,
yeah, definitely.
We've got the one girl who survives the thing. I don't even remember if she survives or dies, but it's like, okay. It's such a horror movie.
John Carpenter, he like created that with like Halloween or whatever.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, he created the trope and then
so he couldn't do that again, like in the thing. Like he can't do the same exact thing again. He's like, okay, so let's make it a bunch of dudes. And that was cool. He subverted horror movies in that way. Like you're right.
Yeah,
it's and a bunch of men.
Neil Marshall did the same thing and had, The Descent was just only a cast of women. That's another subversion of the kind of traditional horror film casting.
Exactly.
So I just it was brought back to like this weird tropiness where it's just like, okay. Has anybody played the 2002, I believe, The Thing video game? Because it's on Xbox and PC.
I have not. I've heard of it.
I have a friend that really loves it and played the Xbox version.
Great idea for a game.
Yeah, I'm thinking of maybe playing it like next week or something.
It's so weird they would remake that like decades after the movie came out.
It's apparently
like 2002.
This is apparently a direct sequel to the film.
Wow. Okay.
And I remember I played around with it like a tiny bit when I was younger, but then didn't like. I'll actually give it my real effort, but I got confused because there were too many options. I was like, "What? There's like a meter of like." Your crew members, like all these different people running around the base that are like they have these like sanity meters or whatever, and you can just like, oh, if one of them's too depressed, they'll like kill themselves or something. I was like, what? It was like too much for me to handle when I was younger. But it's got like decent reviews, and my friend really likes it, so I have the Xbox copy here. I might just try to download like the PC version and see how that goes, but who knows? I might try playing that soon. I'll let you know how it is.
Okay, it's just crazy they'd make it all those years later. Yeah, when the thing came out, it was a huge bomb.
As with a lot of good movies.
Yeah, sure. Not all good movies, some of them. And and yeah, like it's gained this cult status all these years later where even though it was a flop, they made a video game out of it and they remade it, which is also crazy. Like even though the movie was like even a critical flop, like you said, like critics didn't respond to it. They thought it was stupid, even though like it clearly went over their heads. Like this is it's much more thoughtful than like most horror films that were probably coming out.
Yeah,
it made $19 million. That's not adjusted for inflation, but like even if it was, that's not good.
Mm-hmm. Do you know the budget?
No, let me look that up. Yeah, it's in theaters for like 4 weeks. It says.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Box Office Mojo. $10 million budget, 15 million, somewhere in that range. 10 to 15 million.
Whatever. Fuck him.
Yeah, 15 million. Let's just say that.
Fuck them all.
Not a huge success compared to Halloween, especially, which cost 10 cents and made $200 million or whatever. But it's still a great movie. Yeah, that goes without saying. It went over people's heads, or I don't know. Maybe it's really dark too. Like they all.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's ambiguous, but it's not like they make it at the end. Yeah, it's really gruesome and violent, and like
too cool for the Oscars.
Men. Yeah, it's a bunch of guys like in Antarctica. Like it's not very relatable.
Yeah, like honestly, unironically, this film is also too cool for the Oscars because did they have they did. In 1980s, they had a special effects category.
Yeah.
Like go fuck yourself if you're not gonna. Like come on, you don't give a shit, Oscars. You don't give a shit.
Horror themes. So
this movie makes me uncomfortable. Like show me better special effects in 1982. Or show me 5 better.
It was nominated for a Razzie Award for worst musical score.
Wow,
that's fuck the Razzies.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Razzies are
bunch
fucking
of bitches.
Awful, but yeah, they're so irrelevant at this point.
Good. All right, let's do a couple questions.
All right, let's do some questions here. If you want to answer or ask it. Oh, God, I've totally lost it there. Yeah, try that again. If you want to leave your own questions for us to answer in future episodes of Sardonicast, head over to r/Sardonicast, where there's a suggestion thread where you can ask us whatever you like. Just like I Am Matman3 did, who says, what's a cancelled TV show you would save? The obvious one for me is Mindhunter. It's so irritating how it's been kind of abandoned, especially considering the structure of the show was that each episode started with a kind of flash forward to the future that was like building bit by bit, and now I guess it's never gonna reach that kind of
it's
conclusion.
Just a big nothing.
Yeah, that sounds like.
Yeah, I would say Mindhunter.
Mindhunter I haven't seen it.
I would say what was it? Boardwalk Empire. They didn't cancel it, but they gave it one more season. They basically said like the ratings are low, wrap it up in like half a season. You get like I think they had half the budget or something. Yeah, they rushed it. Like I feel like that show could have kept going for like a few more years. Yeah, there's like major characters that kind of just go away. And yeah, they could have kept that going for a few more seasons.
I think
Boardwalk Empire for me. Yeah,
I think the world is ready for more Xavier Renegade Angel. I think it's time. Why not?
I mean, yeah.
It's like it's becoming more of a meme.
Resonate.
It's got like it's a cult status, Might as well.
And like weird Adult Swim stuff just is getting more and more popular as time goes on. People want it. There's a big audience for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mindhunter, that sucked. That's like a good answer.
Yeah.
It's just like we're not even getting like a resolution to any of that. Like not even one episode. He could make a movie to wrap it up.
It just seems like he's just not interested. He's got greener pastures. Yeah,
exactly.
There's some quote of him saying like, it would just be like too much work for how little like kind of viewership it had in comparison for that work.
He seems to move on very quickly.
Yeah,
like same with the girl with the dragon tattoo. Like he made one movie. He's like, I'm not going to make the other two. I'll just move on, make a show, and then he doesn't finish the show.
Yeah, there might be some ones that I'm not thinking of, but I don't know. There's some like Clone High a lot of people love. It's not like my favorite show, but it was just like, oh damn, like only like one season sort of thing, Kenny versus Spenny If you did it right, like I would love to see more of that.
I would like to see more of that. That would be cool to bring back.
I mean, I can never get enough of Nathan For You, but I respect his decision to end it on Finding Francis. So, like, I can't even really say that because I respect it so much. But
you could do Nathan For You. I'd see more of that.
Is Eric Andre canceled or is that still going? Because I want to see more of that shit. But...
yeah, I want to see more
NFT
of that
thing.
No, I'm talking about the show canceled, literally.
Oh, sorry. That's funny.
That's fun. That is funny. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, let's do this one from Joe RCK. What's the most hours you've ever put in a video game? And also, which one did you put the most hours in but didn't particularly like? My answer is the same for both, and that's the original Destiny. I had like an abusive relationship with that game. It's kind of like designed from its core to get you addicted to its gameplay loops, and if you have a somewhat addictive personality, that shit had its hooks in me. That took a bit to get off. But yeah, that was a few thousand hours, maybe 1,700 hours odd.
I mean, I've probably put the most hours into Halo. I don't know if I should count the whole franchise or just one particular game. If it's one particular game, probably the first one. Like, I've beaten that so many fucking times. Like, I couldn't... It was such a core part of my childhood that, I couldn't possibly log all of the hours I spent playing it. I didn't even consider doing that. It was just, that was what I did. I just played Halo.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you can just play the same game again and again.
Couch co-op. You had couch. You could do 4 people on one console versus each other in Blood Gulch. Fuck, it was the best. That's all I did.
Yeah, let alone when like Halo 3 came out.
Let's see here. I got a few.
The most amount of hours I put into something that I was disappointed by, though, I'll think about that. Maybe Death Stranding, like...
Oh, that you were disappointed by.
Well, I mean, there's 2 questions there. One is most hours, and the other one also most hours, but you didn't like, I guess.
I have a few with a lot of hours. I couldn't measure exactly. I'm looking at it right here. Gary's Mod. I have 1,670 hours in. That's Gary's Mod. Yeah, that's
just
pretty
looking
good.
At your Steam.
Minecraft. I probably have about the same in Minecraft, honestly.
Oh, yeah. I probably put a hell of a lot of hours.
I probably have not exactly the same, but like, probably a lot in Call of Duty. Like, I don't know which one. Modern Warfare, maybe. And Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5. Those are the ones I played the most. I'd say that.
Just sandboxy playgrounds you can just fuck around in.
Oh yeah, I've played tons of shit. Well, Gary's Mod's multiplayer, and so is Minecraft. So that I guess Grand Theft Auto also. But yeah, Call of Duty. Yeah, I play a lot of video games now.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Siege, I have a lot in.
Yeah, any game that's like doubles up as like kind of a social thing as well. That's why I have so many hours.
A commitment.
Spend a lot of time on that.
It's just like Skype with gameplay,
Sorry, I can't do this right now. My guild needs me.
Yeah, basically.
I'm living a double life. For real.
Disappointing is hard. Yeah. I'm trying to think like disappointing that I've put the most hours into. Because if I put a lot of hours into something, I probably don't feel that way, It probably means I liked it. So I don't know. What did you say for disappointed by?
Probably Death Stranding. That was a really long game I didn't like.
Yeah, I put a lot into that and I just gave up on it.
Yeah, I beat it to the end. It was a sort of like, well, I've made it this far.
There's a point I just gave up. Yeah, I just doing the same shit.
It was very repetitive.
The ending's like 3 hours long or something. Like once you start the ending, sort of
Princess
it's like
Peach.
a movie begins.
That's a good answer. Death Stranding, for now anyway.
All right, another question.
Weeaboo22 has one. Hulu recently announced they're working on a new season of Futurama. They've got most of the original cast back except John DiMaggio, the voice of Bender and many other characters. I'd like to know the Sard's thoughts on this.
They need to get Bender in there. I mean, what the fuck? Bender needs to be in the show.
How about this, though? Does Futurama need to come back?
Apparently they're doing it without fucking John DiMaggio, right?
Yeah, it's Bender, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say that in the question? I was kind of distracted.
Yeah. So that you need Bender in the show. Like they should just pay him whatever he wants and get him.
But
like
Futurama's been cancelled like countless times and already had like loads of really good ending episodes that wrapped it up nicely.
Yeah. This is the owned by Disney arc of Futurama.
Yeah.
Like okay. Like The Simpsons is still The Simpsons has been shit for a while, but now we're gonna see what it looks like with Futurama.
Yeah,
we're gonna get to see shit Futurama, like we see shit Simpsons.
Oh, that sounds good.
There's already been. That's the thing, though. There's already been some like shit Futurama. Like, one of the times it came back, it was
I don't remember.
Yeah, they did like a series of movies or something.
The movies aren't
after it was
that great.
cancelled.
Yeah. I thought they were fine.
It seemed like it kind of lost some of it.
Yeah. I was younger when I watched them.
They've had their duds. Yeah. They've had their duds.
And like they started doing that kind of Simpsons thing where they'd have like guests, like Amelia Clark would like voice like a one-off character, you know, that kind of like lame
Lady Gaga.
Just like, the Elon Musk episode of The Simpsons is a standout one.
I still gotta watch that, but I've heard really
it's fucking hilarious.
Crazy
it's
things.
So fun.
Oh god,
I've heard a lot of cringe about it.
Oh yeah,
is that new?
It's newish.
Fairly contemporary, just like any contemporary Simpsons, basically.
Sounds like shit.
You're gonna have a lot of that, like that Lady Gaga episode as well is awful.
I forgot Elon Musk is in Iron Man 2. Because I was watching that again.
Really?
I haven't seen Iron Man 2.
Oh, is he in the court?
Because like Tony Stark's at a party and Elon's like, "Yeah, Tony, how you doing?" Like something like that.
What was he known
I like
for
completely because when I first saw that in theater, I had no idea who Elon Musk even was.
Yeah, was Tesla even a company back then? I can't even remember.
Who the fuck
he was
knows?
doing shit.
Maybe. Yeah, he was definitely. I mean, he was with Tony Stark. People say he's like the real life Tony Stark. So, yeah, he's in Iron Man 2. Wait, let me pull a picture of him. I just want to confirm that it is the second.
You could be in Iron Man 2 if your parents own like a emerald mine or whatever it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do anything. Yeah, here he is.
There he is. So the question was, should Futurama keep going? I would say, probably no.
Yeah, don't bring it back. Don't bring it back if you don't have
John,
like the best voice. from the show,
you need him in there.
Voices.
Yeah, what the fuck?
If he was in there, I would at least give it a chance. It might not be great, but without him, what even is the point?
So I guess like Billy West is still in it. Everybody else is still in it, just not John DiMaggio.
Yeah, I think that's
lame.
That would be like if they didn't have Lisa in The Simpsons. Like, like one of them was missing.
It'd be like if they didn't have fucking Homer in The Simpsons.
Yeah, Homer or Bart, I'd say.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear worse Bender voice. Ugh. They should just like take all the old recordings and get an AI. And let's move into that dystopia.
Like Troy
let's move
Baker
into
did.
that nightmare.
Yeah.
I think we're ready. We don't have voice actors anymore.
No, straight up. Like apparently, like in these Star Wars shows, they keep like CGing like young versions of the actors. They're like using, I guess, algorithms or something to do virtual versions of the younger voices. Like there's no voice actors. Like it's scary. But that's what's like Disney, like surely that's their dream.
I think we're ready. Elon's getting those brain chips implants. He's killed a bunch of monkeys. I think we're ready. I think we're moving towards the point.
I would love that technology.
No, because it's ideal for Disney. It's everything they'd want. Like all they got to do is just pay like an actor for their likeness, and then let the algorithm do the rest.
Yeah, sounds great. It's terrifying.
All right, another question.
Let's do this one from Michael Scott, 2003. What's some of your favorite celebrities who aren't great at their craft, meaning you aren't too impressed by their work but find their personality and values worthwhile enough to keep up with them? One example for me is Paul Rudd.
No,
I don't think you really know a person.
Seems like a nice guy.
That sounds like one of the most like parasocial questions that could possibly be. Like, you don't know what he's like. You don't know what Paul Rudd's like. I'm sorry. That's an image.
Paul Rudd seems like a nice guy.
So, you don't know.
Leave Paul Rudd alone.
Idea. We have no idea what Paul Rudd's like. So that's a weird. I can't answer that question because I don't know anybody.
Okay, but do you think Paul Rudd's like an asshole? I don't think. I think he's probably pretty much like his image.
Remember when Armie Hammer got found out as a cannibal? I thought he might have been a nice person.
No, I never thought Armie Hammer was a nice person.
Yeah, I had no reason to believe it.
He seemed like an asshole. Paul Rudd seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, but I seem like an asshole, and I'm a nice guy. I think there's a lot of people that seem like nice guys that are actually assholes.
Sure.
So you two can answer. I'm sorry, I'm being difficult.
Well, I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, I would just throw Keanu out there. Like, I don't, I don't watch his movies for his, like, acting. Fuck you, voice, and all this stuff, like. But I'll still watch Knock Knock and have a good time.
Yeah.
Knock Knock.
I don't know.
That's the one you bring up.
It's the worst. I can't.
I still haven't seen it.
It's
probably
the
never
most
will.
cringe you could possibly experience.
No, it's
I don't know if I've cringed harder.
That's the good shit right there. Thanks, Eli Roth.
Sounds terrible. Everyone who sees it, yeah, they fucking hate it. They just shit all over it. They're like, it's the worst movie I've ever seen. I'm like, wow, this sounds really great.
It's pretty awful. You should watch it.
Yeah, I probably should.
It's like a weird, like, porn fan fiction, and then Keanu's just terrible acting, and Eli Roth pretends he made a movie.
Yeah, it's really funny.
He's making a Borderlands movie now, isn't he? That's
I know, what the fuck?
Fucking bizarre.
Wow.
He's moving up.
Borderlands.
The video game, Onslaught, it's on its way.
Yeah, I feel Keanu Reeves is a good answer. I've just never seen him be good.
Yeah.
I've seen him be Keanu Reeves and
sure.
be charismatic in that light. Like Point Break, I like him in Point Break. I like him in John Wick and The Matrix.
Yeah,
he does his own martial arts. I think you said that, Alex. Like that's the cool thing about him.
That's always what I've.
He could be hiding
like
something.
in the John Wick movies.
You never know.
He does his own stunts. Yeah, it's more his presence and like the fact that he is a nice guy. Like he gave his.
Do we know that
his Matrix charity, his Matrix salary, cancer research.
By all measurements, he's probably a very nice guy. I'm just like, if I don't know someone personally, it's like I can't say that.
But if someone's doing all that, right, like the chances of them being an asshole, I think, are quite small.
I'm giving him a hard time. I'm being a little bit of a bitchy boy.
The chances of him being an asshole are really small.
Yeah,
I think. If like anything coming out about him, like I would doubt
Epstein 3.0.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves. No, I don't think anything like that would happen with Keanu.
The perfect coin.
He seems like a nice guy, and that's how Paul Rudd seems, and that's. Like, most of the Marvel cast seems like nice people, except for maybe one who I don't need to name.
Oh.
I think people know.
All right. I guess let's do the movie recommendation. I think that's it for questions. I think we're out of time. And I think it's Ralph's turn to recommend.
Shit, really? Oh, my God.
Do you have a list?
Do you
want me to pick for you?
Yeah, I got a list here. I want to recommend something. No. Recommend something like, I don't know. I'm struggling between something good or something bad.
Oh, we just watched a good movie.
We just watched one of the best horror movies, so...
Yeah, we just watched a good movie. So
hit us with,
I want to watch something Adam Sandler. Let's watch Going Overboard from 1989.
Oh my God! I just put that on my watch list. Like,
interesting.
A couple weeks ago, I was like, "This looks so This looks like the cringe."
Going Overboard. That's
okay. Cool.
This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
Yeah, me neither. This is just like I think this showed up on like the bad movies subreddit. Someone was saying this is the worst shit they've ever seen. Like,
that has got to be one of the worst posters I've ever seen.
I can't stand.
That is really bad.
Doesn't
it looks so photoshopped? Like, is that?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, good pick. I'm excited. Nobody's seen this.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Woo, voice crack. All right, so if you don't want to be
going
spoiled, for Going Overboard, 1989, starring Adam Sandler, written and directed by Valerie Bryman.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then if you don't want to be spoiled for that, then check it out before the next episode. These episodes come out every 2 weeks, but you can listen to them early by going to patreon.com/Sardonicast or going to sardonicast.com and signing up for premium. It's only $2 a month. That's nothing. That's like It's like baby money. So give us your baby money, and you'll get these episodes early.
It's baby money.
We got merch also, and yeah, happy Shrek, everybody. Thank you for listening or watching / listening. We're gonna watch the best movie ever for next episode. Awesome. I'm excited. Hell yeah. It's a good recommendation. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Arrivederci.